However, recently I found out how she was earning this money. It got brought to my attention she was selling videos of herself pole dancing. I was shocked, especially as I was informed it looked like many of these videos were filmed in my house. Welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, gonna go over a story titled, Am I the a-hole for telling my daughter she needs to leave my house because she does OnlyFans? And guys, this story is definitely a good one, and this definitely reflects the times. This story here is all about a mother who allowed her daughter to come back home and live with her after she had lost her job because the law firm she worked for went bankrupt during COVID. The girl obviously couldn't pay her bills, so mom said, come on back home and, obviously stay here rent-free until you can get back on your feet. Well, then mom one day discovers all of a sudden that the girl was using her house to film OnlyFans videos. And as you can imagine, the mom said, not happening here. If you're going to keep doing that here, you can get out. Because the girl was making a ton of money all of a sudden. And it's so interesting nowadays how the immediate go-to thing, instead of actually trying to find a real job and not shaming yourself for the world to see, is the OnlyFans option, right? And as you can imagine, this lady posted this thing online, has been getting all this hate for her doing that, right? Even though, as the old saying goes, my house, my rules. And what's amazing is also, as you're going to see here, that the girl, what she's doing, at this point, it seems like it's not that graphic. But the way OnlyFans works is the more graphic you are, obviously the larger your fan base is going to get, and the greater the bigger donations you are. So usually Instagram is the gateway drug to OnlyFans, where first the girls get a lot of attention from dudes online, and they realize they can get those dudes to pay them. They go on OnlyFans. It's just pictures in the beginning, not too graphic, and the more graphic they get, the bigger following they get, the more money they make, and off we go. So it's just amazing the direction things have gone. And it goes to show how parents need to lay down the law with their kids, saying essentially, this type of behavior is unacceptable. We don't want this in our family, certainly in our home. And if you're going to behave this way, even though I raised you very well, then you're disowned. Okay, don't come crawling back to us. Okay, because we're not going to have this. This is not going to be in our family. It's a disgrace doing that kind of work. But nobody does that, so it's unfortunate. Anyhow, guys, I'm going to go through this because it's definitely entertaining here, and again, a reflection of the times. So it starts off, says here, so my daughter, a 25-year-old female, has been pole dancing for 7 years. She enjoys it a lot, and as far as I know, she's very good at it. To my knowledge, she has only used it for exercise, and until recently has had a steady job in a law firm, but due to COVID, her firm went bankrupt and she lost her job. Yeah, so anybody that says those stupid pole dancing workouts that you guys started seeing, obviously a few years ago, wouldn't lead to something else, well, there you go. I mean, when I first saw those pole dancing workouts, I just thought it was the most ridiculous thing ever. When it comes to the fitness industry, because I'm a personal trainer, most people hate exercise. So they'll come up with the most ridiculous ideas for workouts. And they become trendy for a little while, and then just like that, they're gone. When I saw the pole dancing thing, I was like, oh my God. Again, a reflection of the times. So I'm Gomorrah 2.0. Let's all work out being pole dancers. As a result of this, she had to move back home. Since she came home, she looked for a job for a month or so, and then she stopped. I figured she was just taking a break, and since she seemed fine, and as an adult, I didn't push it as we were still in the pandemic. This is obviously a few years ago. Recently, she seemed to have enough money and has told me she's going to have enough money to put a down payment on a house soon. I told her I was very proud of her and glad she'd be okay financially. Until mom finds out what she does to get all that money. And notice she said here she was looking for a job for a month, but then all of a sudden quit. Whoopee. Okay, a whole month. There are people that will look for months and months and months, if not years sometimes. But they're not going to shame themselves and their family by displaying themselves online for the world to see. But now it's a trendy thing to do, so there you go. However, recently I found out how she was earning the money. It got brought to my attention she was selling videos of herself pole dancing. I was shocked, especially as I was informed it looked like many of these things were being filmed in my house. Not cool. She's letting the girl stay there rent-free. She eats for free and all that. And this is how she's repaying mom in the house. She doesn't want that going on there, let alone her daughter doing that. It says here she has a pole in her room that she uses for exercise. I confronted her about it and she seemed to consider it a non-issue. She said, I'm not naked. No one will know it's in your house. It's not exactly SCX work. It's an art form. Art form my ass, please. And even if she isn't naked, I guarantee she's revealing some parts. And give it time, because she will make more money the more she reveals. I told her she needed to delete the videos and account or leave. She got upset with me, but I told her I'm not having that in my house. Hey, my house, my rules. She's now packing her stuff and moving in with a friend until she has enough for her deposit. Unbelievably, she has told people about this, and I'm now getting called an a-hole. So, am I the a-hole in this situation? I feel I might have overreacted, but also, like, this is a serious issue. No, you're not the a-hole, and no, you didn't overreact. Usually people's first reaction is the correct one, depending on their gut and all that. It's your freaking house. Your house, your rules. End of story. And notice she's not saying, this girl's getting off lucky, saying, I'm not disowning you for this, just I don't want it in my house. End of story. And guess what? She's allowed to say that because it's her freaking house. And she let her stay there rent-free. Okay? And 1 month, she's already doing this. And also, who cares what other people think? Okay? It's not their freaking business. Now, she had a couple minor updates here. One of them was, she says, I have no issue with what she's doing in her own house, a studio or a strip club or whatever, but I don't want videos of my house put up, and that is what the issue was, and not what she's doing. That she was doing it in my house. He says, it's almost laughable. I have to say this, but I'd appreciate all the people who are telling me it's perfectly safe would stop sending me threats. Stop messaging me and asking for her OnlyFans. Yeah, so she posted this online. Everybody now wants to know this girl's OnlyFans. Big shocker. So, no, she's not the a-hole. She has every right to feel this way. And again, a reflection of the times. And you know what? If the girl's making enough money doing this, which she obviously is, fine. It's a business. So she can then file for an LLC to make an official business. And once that's done, she can get herself a business bank account. And then OnlyFans can send that money to her business bank account. And now it's officially a business. She can use that money to rent a studio and do all her dancing and Lord knows what there. She's got money coming in, so she can do that. End of story. It's not that difficult, really. But no, the mom's the bad guy in this situation, for God forbid parenting a little bit, huh? But this generation doesn't like to be called out on their bad behavior. Now I'm going to go through some comments here, and they're interesting because you got people that are in agreement with the mother, and you got people that are calling her the a-hole and saying that she is this horrible mom and all that. And I want to point something out. The ones that are insulting the mother's decision on this, I've picked up very quickly they're young people of this generation, and the BS they say is hilarious, which I'll gladly pick apart. First one says, not the a-hole. Everybody's allowed to have rules in their house, and not wanting someone making softcore porn in your house is perfectly fine. The daughter is living there rent-free. Daughter can move out and do this in her own place. She's an adult after all. Exactly. She's making enough money. Fine. Go move out, do that in your own place. Or form a business and use the renting the studio as a business deduction. Perfectly legitimate. But don't do that in my house, and don't be labeling me the a-hole here. Now we got a young person commenting. Says, you are the a-hole. First of all, OnlyFans is a platform for any type of creator to post any content. There's people on there with cooking videos, people with drawing tutorials, music, etc. It's not just SCX. Yeah, newsflash. What percentage do you think of OnlyFans is SCX work? Come on here. Where do you? I've never heard anybody that does it for cooking videos or tutorials and tutorials on what I might ask. Says if your daughter isn't naked, then it's not really a SCX thing. Anyway, she's just pole dancing. She's not pole dancing in a freaking nun outfit, okay? I guarantee she's revealing parts. But that's besides the point. She is 25 years old and making enough money to put a down payment on a house. I don't think you understand, but that's incredible for us young people these days. Most of us are working minimum wage jobs and can barely afford food and rent. And we have to turn to gigs like OnlyFans to make any sort of disposable or savable income. Oh, okay, so this young generation is the first generation in history to ever go through tough economic times. That they had to figure out a way. It wasn't so easy, so they had to then choose either do something very either illegal or definitely shameful in the family, or find another way. Maybe budget be as frugal as can be, budget, do anything you can that's legal to find a way. Back in the days before OnlyFans, what if somebody was struggling like this person describes and there was an opportunity to make money, I don't know, selling drugs or something like that? Does that mean that it's therefore justifiable to do something illegal like that to make ends meet? Get the fuck out of here. And by the way, a lot of people during the peak of COVID were back home living with families and didn't have to pay the bills and were getting stimulus checks and all that and decided to just stay at home. Now, this isn't everybody, but a lot. So this young generation here, shut the fuck up. It goes on, it says here, a lot of us don't even have to resort to this, but it's out of necessity. She probably wouldn't be able to buy a house if it wasn't for OnlyFans. Kicking your daughter out for finding a way to make decent money is an incredibly shitty economy, especially for young people, and during a pandemic makes no sense. You should be proud of her entrepreneurial spirit. It sounds like you're more upset with the fact that she's pole dancing and whatever stigmas you associate with that than the fact that it's happening in your house. Well, let's just say the mom doesn't like it. Too bad. It's not her, she has every right to not like it. She's her mother. And it was going on in her house. An entrepreneurial spirit. Okay, do something that's, I'm all for the entrepreneurial spirit. I'm an entrepreneur. But do something that's not a big embarrassment to the family, to yourself, that you're not flaunting yourself for the whole world to see, that you're not in that line of work. Then do something. And by the way, remember how I said that she was working in a law firm? You think she's going to work in a law firm after this now? Not a chance in hell. And the only way she's going to be able to not have to go back to that is to keep doing this and more. But this is the mindset of the young generation today. And sure, it's tough. It's tough out there for a lot of people, but they can find another way than doing something like this. Another one says, not the a-hole. This is because it's your house and she didn't ask if she could do it in your house. Also, if her patrons are determined enough, they can try to find your house. If she wants to do OnlyFans, she can rent a small studio and do it there. Exactly. But she doesn't have to pay anything towards that. Now another one saying that you're the a-hole. You're the a-hole. You're more concerned with the fact that it's your house and the fact that your kid is an absolute badass that may manage to own their own home, unlike a majority of the millennial generation so far. Well, she's 25, so I think it's right on the borderline of millennial and Generation Z. Not to mention that, but you're just embarrassed. You put that much in your username for the throwaway. You feel shame at the fact that your kid is such a phenomenal pole dancer that the internet is throwing money at her. Yeah, the mom is really jealous of her daughter pole dancing. That's what it is. Get out of here. Of course she'd tell people. If my mother had pulled this stunt, I'd have told my grandmother, who would have yanked her lease in a hot second. My mother has passed, and thankfully, despite raising my LDS, she never stooped so low as to shame me for choices with my body. Yeah, the old my body, my choice or whatever, but how about my house, my rules? How about that? And this is also coming from another young person. You care more about your feelings about how your daughter earned her money than the fact that she's way more forward-thinking person. This is forward-thinking. This is the future. That's a future that I'm sure she doesn't want to be in. I certainly don't want to be in. Sodom and Gomorrah 2.0 world. Typical attitude of the generation nowadays. And by the way, those that make this choice to do these things online, it's never going to go away. And this will come back to haunt them down the road, as it does many times in the videos I go over. But this generation never has to ever deal with any consequences because they're never called out for it. And when they are actually called out for their actions, they throw tantrums like this. And last one. No, not the a-hole. It says here, she's making these videos in your house and you're uncomfortable with them. She's not a bad person for making them and you're not a bad person for being uncomfortable by them. 25 is a reasonable age to leave the nest anyways. She made enough money for a down payment, so it's time for her to go, especially if you two seem to have such different values and are at a clashing point. I do wonder if she's truly thinking over how this way of making income will affect any future law career she hopes to have. But the choice is entirely hers, of course. And when times are tough, you do what you have to do, I suppose. No, you don't have to do this. You do other things. You find every way you can to cut back on your expenses. Fine. You find ways to make money in other ways that are legal and not embarrassment on the family and not shaming yourself and potentially jeopardizing your future career and future relationships, all that. Not this. It's ridiculous. And I didn't say her job at a law firm. I didn't say if she's a lawyer or paralegal or secretary or working in billing. I'm guessing she was not a lawyer, because there's just no way. Well, let me go back. I've seen plenty of stories about nurses and teachers, even a pastor once, that went on OnlyFans to, make their dreams come true, and they were making a couple $100,000 a month. So even if she was a lawyer and figured she could make way more, she might do it anyway. But it's crazy. She says, I'm thankful to never have been in that position. 2020 really has had us doing things we never thought we would do. Yeah, maybe, but not this. But anyhow, guys, there you go. Sound War 2.0. So, all right, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Let me know. Is the mother overreacting? Is she being too harsh, ridiculous? I'd like to hear about it. I'm sure the vast majority is going to probably agree with me, but I'm sure I always get a lone dissenter out there saying, no, she's the a-hole. Okay, I'd like to hear about it. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.